Hi. I'm gonna let more people come into the room while I upload. I'm gonna let more people come into the room while I upload more pictures. Okay. Also, if you're hashtag replay gang, check the description box below. Hello, 11 people. I'm just dropping some photos. Trying to see what the one are the new ones. I'm dropping some photos in the chat. Hi. Hi, Marshmallow. Hey, Nakia. Girl, Love After Lockup. I've once again, and right into this moment, forgot that it was back on. Oh, I needed to do it. Okay. Yes, you made it. Angela, a lot of new people. Asteroidia is back. Asteroidia Black is back. Hey, Miss Paris. Hey, Mickey. Yes, don't forget to do all those things. Welcome to Alive, Nakia, and welcome, and Angela, and Marshmallow. Marshmallow. Oh my God, you actually watched Love After Lockup? Mickey, good for you. Okay, I gotta figure it out. I'm just like, when am I gonna do this? When am I gonna do that? Is it on the weekends? It comes on Fridays, right? So then I'd have to do it on a Saturday. I possibly can swing it. I could swing it, but also Love Is Blind is coming back on February 11th. So Love Is Blind, Love Is Blind, Ohio, which maybe it's Cleveland. What are the major cities in Ohio? Cleveland, Ohio. I don't know any of the other cities in Ohio. Hey, Jasmine. Anyways, okay, 22 people in the room. Look, we're getting lit here. We're getting hit. Thank you. Appreciate it. No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about Love After Lockup that is coming back. But right now we're talking about 90 Day Fiance the other way, season 7, episode 21, the tell part 1. Hi, I'm Sean Robinson. Also, tell me why Bonnie Rainim tried to do a copyright strike on my last video because I sang I Can't Make You Love Me. I said, y'all heard that? The AI algorithm bot must be working overtime. I sang 45 seconds of a song from the 80s terribly. And they're like, copyright strike, you're sharing your money. You're sharing the 5 cents we give you for this episode with BMG, whatever it is. I'm like, I'm disputing this. Give me back my half of my 5 cents. Okay? Give me back my 2 pennies, my 2.5 pennies, please. I said, that is hilarious. So you can't even sing a song now. I was gonna sing another song just now. You can't even sing a song now on this app or no, it's not even an app, on this website, on this web page. You can't even sing a song now. I'm like, damn, you already took my CPMs down. You already took my monies, taking my monies, trying to just give me $100 like I ain't shit. Uh, oh yeah, no, I didn't do much this month. Whew, we'll see. Okay. Should we get started at 6? Right now it's 5:30. So we'll get started at 6 minutes in because it's a lot to talk about, because instead of it being 45 minutes like I'm used to, it was an hour and a half, which, it's a tell all, so that makes sense. But there's a lot of nonsense to try to wade through. Ready, Freddies? Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiance the Other Way, Season 7, Episodes 21, The Tell-All, Part 1. My name is Wah. I do recaps of relationship reality TV shows such as 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup, Seeking Sister Wife, Love is Blind. So if you are at all interested in that content, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And if you're watching this and you get the hee-hee ha-has and you want to give a girl a tip, you can do so with the options down below. Hello, those of you who are watching me on Facebook. Hi. All right, for you, those of you, let's just get the party started. Let's get the party started. All right. So the first couple, I mean, it's a tell-all. So really, what it is, this intro part is just them doing like little sound bites and having little conversations with the casts before they come in, before they're dressed in their outfits. I mean, speaking of outfits, Jenny has been on this show for 17 seasons. How dare she show up to a tell-all dressed like she's going to a poorly attended funeral? Dressed like she didn't even wear a bright color. Girl, if you wanted to wear a pants and a sweater, you could. But can we make it hot pink? You have been living in India. I know it's not that cold in New York City right now. Come in with a sari on. She's been to a tell-all with a sari on. I mean, if she didn't want to wear pink, could it at least be like a, I don't know, like a plush, like a maroon, or maybe something to go with this melancholy hair she's got going on right now? I said, Jenny, ma'am, she is the only person dressed like she's going to, like she's going to like I said, a poorly attended funeral, where she's like, well, I don't have all black, so let me just wear the darkest colors that I have, and this is my friend, but we're all poor, so we don't got clothes for all that. I'm like, girl, you could have done so much better, Jenny, and you didn't. You failed us. Okay, so they ask Anthony what he expects from the tell-all, and he says, I expect loud noises. And we're like, yeah, that would be an Anthony answer, where it's like true that he would be like, oh, it's so loud, but then also like he thinks that comment, saying it like that, is funny. And we're like, we think he's just as funny as his wife does. So Manon says that she's tired of being expected to be perfect for everyone, yet still the villain. And it's been a long time. It's been a year, and she's like, really, guys, I cannot support Manon. I know I've said this for the last like 5 episodes, but Manon is crazy, y'all. She's like, I can't be expected to be perfect, yet the villain. And I'm like, no one expects you to be perfect. We expect you to get on medication and control yourself. And if you don't want to control yourself, which is fair, right? If you don't want to get on medication, you don't want to do the hard work with therapy, you don't want to do the things that you need to do to make it so that you can have decent interpersonal relationships with people who aren't chosen family, like you then need to just own up to the behavior instead of being defensive of it. Because that's what's crazy about it. Don't defend the behavior. If everyone tells you, just like everyone tells me, if everyone tells you that you just say what you say, you come off rude, or you you won't let him talk to you, like she just justifies all of the poor behavior. And I'm like, don't justify it. Just say, yes, I let myself feel my emotions at all times, no matter how they make other people feel, because from the ages of 3 to 17, I was made to feel a certain way. And now my brain is wired in a way where I cannot be silenced, even though somebody may not truly be trying to silence me. But the childhood trauma is real, and I don't want to do anything about it. I'm okay with who I am. So if I rub people the wrong way, I know that I got to walk away. And I feel like the same with me. So sometimes I just walk away, and then they get mad at me for walking away. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm walking away because I'm not right for you. You're not right for me. I'm not right for you. It's so interesting that I'm kind of going through this at work, where like I can see that people don't expect me to challenge them. And I'm like, well, I am. So if that's not what you want, then let's just steer clear of each other. Because I'm not going to fix me. I'm not gonna fix me to fit in with you. And everyone is telling her that she is rude to Anthony. And she's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, you are. Now, if he is doing things to you that causes that, which we can see he's doing things that cause that. Now, they wouldn't cause it in me. They wouldn't cause it in Chloe, but they're causing it in you. So now you need to get away from Anthony, because Anthony is causing you to behave in a way that is making you look crazy. It could still be his fault, but that just means you don't need to be there. Anyways, it is what it is. Like, people just need to stop like trying to make, round hole and square pegs. If it don't work, there are people out there for you. You'll find your man who let you mow over him. Okay, so then we cut to Greta. Greta says that it's been a year since she's seen Matthew, or a while since she's seen Matthew. And then she's like, people would be really surprised about like, who I am right now. I've changed so much. And we see her just like chowing down on this burger. And for a moment, they try to make us believe like she's not vegan anymore. That the change that is going through her is like she's no longer vegan and she's this meat eater. And then they cut back to show that she's in some vegan like burger restaurant. And I'm just like, girl, why did they have to even do this? And then they're like, hey, so if we brought a special guest on, like someone from your past, would you be really shocked? And she's like, yeah, because I wouldn't know who it is. Girl, it's a cat. I'm gonna go ahead and save you it. It's the cat. Okay. They bring Hazel on. They show us a live feed of Hazel up in an attic on some boxes eating some food. And then as soon as the food is gone, Hazel jump off the boxes and go about her business. It's crazy. It's crazy. That was the craziest thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it to you for a while, because it don't make no sense that they showed that cat. It seems like cat. Okay. Anyways, she's like, it's so weird, because I did give up a healthy relationship, and my relationship with Matthew is probably the healthiest relationship that's on this show. And so yeah, so she's like, but it's what needed to happen. And as much as I was like, damn, Greta, that's cold-blooded that you moved all the way over there and then you just like broke up with him, the truth is that she didn't even move back to the US. Let's just talk about Greta. She didn't move back to the US. The girl said, I wanted to live in the city, and so she moved to the city. She got a job doing animal advocacy. She got a work visa, and now she's in London living her best effing life. Her best life. Living my best life. Like, living her best life. She's just over here chowing down on vegan burgers, living her best life in London, while Matthew is somewhere in the dust. And she's like, guess what? I want to feel magical sparks at all time. I don't have to settle. And I said, you know what, Greta, you are a woman of the future. Like, I'm not saying that there haven't been women of every generation. Like, when I think of these kind of women, I think of like Eartha Kitt. I think of like Jane Fonda. I just think of really strong women who are like, listen, I don't need no man, especially in a time period where like it was like, oh no, you need a man, or like you can't get a credit card without a man. Like, there are women who were able to rise above that, either because they had family money, they ended up making money on their own, or they were movie stars, right? We always had those outliers. But now we got a regular degular animal activist lawyer who is moving through the world. And she said he was a 4 out of 5 in the beginning, and at the end he was a 3 out of 5. And so I got out of there. I deserve a 5 out of 5. And I said, yes, yes. I said, yes, yes. And this is not, we can't even say this is just for women, just because women, because traditionally we're stuck in situations with horrible men. But like anybody, if it ain't a 10 out of 10, get out. Unless you're one of those people who need to be in a relationship and find fulfillment and validation and being in a coupledom. But if you're not one of those people, if you're one of those people who could just live your life, live your life. Live your life, sis. And that's what Greta's doing. Now, I didn't like the way her friends came on and tried to make it seem like he didn't like, oh, like, oh, you didn't even leave a drawer for her. Like, they made it seem like they came at him a little too hard. Like, yes, is he just not somebody who is like, yeah, he's not right for her. But Matthew is very middle of the road. Matthew could easily find, he says this next woman that he's with is after an hour, he realized that, that she's his sole companion. Obviously, Matthew got problems and he want to be in relationships so bad because Greta was his sole companion a year ago. He says it's very obviously that this person is just my sole companion. Yes, because that person probably wouldn't care that you hadn't left a drawer open for them or made any room in their closet. Right? To each his own. Just because this man did not create room for you doesn't mean that you should settle for someone who doesn't create room for you. And that's what Greta said. And I said, you know what? Good for you. I know I felt some kind of way when she left him so easily because I just feel like it's difficult to find somebody. When you find somebody who's good, why not stick with them? But who am I? Who am I to even have an opinion about that? Nobody. So the fact that she said I want 10 out of 10, I want 5 out of 5 every time, I said, okay. I said, okay. You don't got to tear Matthew down, though, because he's not the right person for Greta. Like, and that's the thing that I'm just like, oh, why can't we just say they're not the right people for each other? Because there's a person out there who Matthew is perfect for. There is a person out there who's like, it's okay, Matthew, that you did not make room for me. I'll make room for me. There is a person out there for Matthew. So let's take this moment out to now look at Greta and Matthew. Matthew, he looks like the person he's with does not give a f about the way he looks. His hair is too long. He needs a t-shirt underneath there because we could see his chesticles. We can see the outline of his body through this cable sweater. And he said he's bought a home and he's so happy with him. And I said, your girl, whoever you're with right now, she don't care how you look on national TV. She don't care how you look on national TV. She didn't even let you do, she didn't tell you to do your hair. Look at Greta over here looking crazy, but still looking so like she's made effort. Greta looks like listen, and I'm thrift. Okay. If thrifting is what you want to do for sustainability in this world, thrift. But Greta looks like she thrifted a dress that was too big for her. And she said, I'll just make it an empire cut dress and I'll throw the extra fabric around my neck like I'm Celine Dion in some 90s ballad. And then I'm going to throw on some 80s glasses. And guess what? They're going to be thin rimmed glasses and my shoes are going to match my glasses. Nothing else. I'm not going to give you a belt. I'm not going to give you any kind of embroidery on it. In fact, it's going to be ill fitting up towards my tetas. I'm not going to give you anything you want. I have fabric from the thrift store covering my body and you need to deal with it. And we said, okay. Did we not? Aren't we saying okay? We're saying okay right now. We said, okay, Greta, you come as you are. That's what the Lord said. Come as, okay, no, they're going to try to charge me for that. You know the song, da 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 da, Nirvana, come as you are. Memory. That's what happened. Okay? That is what happened. So anyways, he then is now happily in a relationship with some woman who's his sole companion. And then Luke's dumbass, and this is what I don't get. I don't like when they ask them about their sex life. I think it's so tacky. It's so tacky. Because at the end of the day, this show isn't about, like, it's not 90 Day Fiance sex life. You know what I mean? If you want to tell us a little bit about your sex life, you can go ahead and do that. But honestly, I don't need it. And so Luke is like, speaking of consummate, because Greta accidentally said, "When did you consummate this relationship?" And what she meant to say is, "When did you officially become together?" And Matthew said, 10 hours after we went on our 5-hour date is when I decided that we were going to be together, and this is what it is. And so she's like, "Oh, okay." And at first it feels like she might be a little bit like taken aback. And even Patia's like, He moved on so quickly." And I think to myself, what a silly thing to say. I hate when someone says like, "Oh, you moved on so quickly." To me, moving on so quickly is like if you just got out of like a 3 to 5 year relationship, maybe even a 2 year relationship, and in 3 weeks you have a new girlfriend. Like, I think that people are allowed to move on to someone else. That doesn't invalidate the relationship that they had with that one person. I think usually those people are serial relationshipists, serial monogamists, and they feel better as humans in some kind of coupledom. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, if you moved on so quick, that means you never loved me. I don't think that at all. I just think that there's somebody who they could have loved you. Were they in love with you? Knock down, drag out? Maybe not. But you can commit to somebody. And if that person is decent and that person doesn't balk when you try to buy a house, or that person, talks about wanting to have kids with you and they're ready to have kids right now, like, why not? I think that sometimes we romanticize, and it's part of it, right? We romanticize romance and love and being in a relationship. We romanticize it to the point where, like, if you aren't 100% in love, I'll kill for you, I'll bury the body for you, then it's not real. And I'm like, I think there's just so many levels to being in a relationship. I mean, what would I know about it? But I just think there's so many levels to being in a relationship. They're trying to be like, oh, I was like, Patia, take your 90s attitude and get out of here. I mean, we know Patia is like, she's definitely giving us elder Gen X, you know what I mean? Like behaviors. I'm like, Patia, what are you talking about? She's like, he moved on so quick. I was like, he did not. It's fine. Everyone's fine. Um, oh, and then another thing that happened that we saw was that for some reason, Greta's living in this world where she thinks that she would actually sit next to somebody on a TV show or in a space with somebody who actually had a real fur coat. Like, I think that people don't understand how much a mink costs, or like these like no one is roaming around with real fur these days that are just like in any space in which you and I would just see them. If they're in a mink, they're on a private tarmac on a private plane. Okay? A mink is like $8,000 plus. And his wasn't even a full, like, you know what I mean? Like, Luke, we all know that Luke is not rich. She's like, "Is that real?" I was like, "Girl, it's not real. It's not real." Anyone who has the audacity to wear real fur in public is in a black car, and they enter through the side entrance. In fact, not only do they enter through the side entrance, they enter through the side entrance to a private club that you don't even know exists. Unless you're a rapper. Then maybe you might be out in real fur like an idiot. But real fur is so déclassé. I mean, unless you're Janet Jackson. Like, Janet Jackson is the only person, like, you just have to be so out of touch to be roaming the earth in front of regular deglers in a real fur. This ain't the 80s. Anyways, Luke is like, "No, it's not real." But I just thought it was so silly that she asked if it was real. What? What do you mean minks are easy to find on Facebook Marketplace and thrift stores? I'm sorry, what thrift stores are you going? Are you being facetious? Okay. Like, girl, um, this ain't the 80s, girl. What you talking about? Everybody is roaming. Even if you're a celebrity and you have a fur coat on, it's most likely fake. It's just not the thing to do. It's just not the thing to do. Real furs? Like mink or just like shearling or like Angola or like like something sustainable. I mean, not that like rabbit is not sustainable or whatever, but like, it's different. It's different. Exactly your grandma. Your grandma. People don't just have them. People don't have just don't have them now. They're exceedingly expensive. You have one. If your grandma has one, she got it in the 80s or she got it back then or did she get it 10 years ago? Let me know. Y'all, I guess I okay. Look, are you guys what is happening? I'm talking about going into a luxury store and buying and buying a mink or a what is that other animal called? Like uh what is the animal called? It's in a rap song. I don't know what I'm trying to say. What is Jocelyn saying? Some in my town take old fur coats and add them to purses and they're beautiful, but is it PC? I'm in Toronto. Chinchilla. Thank you. Chinchilla. I'm talking about does there is everyone know what I'm talking about? I'm not talking about like being native and like hunting for furs. I'm talking about luxury luxury soft furred animals like a mink or a chinchilla and going in and buying that and then roaming the streets with it. That doesn't happen as often anymore as it did in yesteryears. I'm not gonna argue with y'all. You just if what you're trying to tell me is that I'm wrong, I accept. Okay, I'm wrong. That's fine. That's fine. I may talk about something that's too specific. I'm not talking about the olden days. I'm talking about the 80s when that shit was gauche and that shit was like popping and doing that was okay. Luke specifically would not be at a tell-all in a mink. That's all I'm saying. One, because it's Luke and he ain't got no real money. And two, it's much easier. Yeah, fake furs are what people wear these days. It is what it is. All right. So moving on. Whew. Chloe gives Greta a glass straw. And I said, I love it because it's sustainable. However, it's still very, very privileged to be able to do. It I have several metal straws because, Greta wants to be sustainable. So having a glass straw is not bad. But she's like, I bought a bunch and I carry them with me because I don't want to use paper straws or plastic straws, which is like great, but also still very, very, very privileged to be able to do so. So I liked it, but also was like interesting. Because I have metal straws. Do I take them to go? No, I do not. I think that's all I have to say about Greta. I know it was all over the place with her, but I just had to speak about it. Okay. So now we've got Luke, and they talk about Luke, and Luke is like, yeah, he's back in the US and he has no ring. And Luke, the only thing of note that happened with Luke is obviously him and Madeline are in some kind of argument. One. Two, he is making googly eyes at Chloe. Greta saw it. Chloe said that she tried to hit that he slid into her DMs and said, "Are we gonna like hang out tonight, or we're gonna grab a drink?" Which I personally don't see anything wrong with. I don't see anything wrong with it, and I feel like if Chloe tells Madeline or like announces it to the cast that Luke said, "Hey, let's go get a drink," then like she's being messy for no reason. Like there's just no reason for him to not want to go out with Chloe. It just Chloe looked so great. And someone said that she looked like Marilyn Monroe and they were absolutely correct. They were absolutely correct. I mean, she really took us from just this crazy ass version of her, just like hair was two seconds away from breaking off at the roots, to this healthy, lovely, I don't know if this balayage or whatever it is, just like great. I love that I caught the phrase ridiculous bee, and that's Madeline screaming. So that was like the big thing that happened this episode, is her and Madeline screaming back and forth at each other. It was very, very, very interesting. Um okay, so then he says that he's not looking forward to Madeline getting mad and blowing up. And Chloe says that, she would be there to drop bombs on Jonathan if he, doesn't want to come in peace. So we get in cut to Manon in the car, who's like, Anthony, are you ready to stick up for your wife? Every time she does this thing where she like, afterwards, it feels like a challenge. Like she's like, she's like, "Nuck if you buck." Like, and I'm like, if you don't stop trying to intimidate this man, that's the reason why I feel the Manon feels weird to me, is because I feel like she's trying to bully Anthony at all times. Like it's like I was saying earlier, when people just ain't right for you, they just ain't right for you. And Anthony's not right for her. And she keeps wanting him to step up and do something that he's not doing. And so instead of her making the choice that works best for her, she just would rather like semi abuse him. And that's what I don't like. That is what I don't like. It just it feels like she's preying on him, and he allows it, which is another part of the problem. Like, I'm not saying that it's all her, it's him allowing it as well, so that he looks like he's not a victim, or he looks like he's a victim in this and Manon is just beating up on him. No, you need to stand up for yourself and then get out of this relationship. It's obvious that he needs to get out of the relationship. So then we move on to Patia. Patia says that, and she gets this interesting like intro where she's walking with like a little black booty and the ankles pants, and she's walking down the street of New York City, and they're just like, um she's like, yeah, Dylan is just a lot with Dylan, and I've got some tea to spill, but it's been a roller coaster ride of jealousy, but she's ready to bring it to whoever has it for her. So like she's ready to argue with whoever has an opinion about her relationship. And then we sit down in a room with Patia and Jenny, where they put the two elder statesmen women in a space together and try to kind of like make them have a conversation about their relationships with their mothers-in-law. And Jenny is like, well, I'm respectful to my mother-in-law. And Patia's like, I'm respectful. And Jenny's like side-eyeing her while she's getting makeup put on her. Like, no, Patia, you're not respectful. You're not respectful. I mean, Jenny is not respectful for lying to Sadna the whole time, and like, that whole charade of happening. But like now that they're living together in this current situation, she thinks that she's respectful to her. And I was like, Jenny, you may try to be respectful to her face, but like if you could just get up and wash a dish and cook a meal, I think that would go a long way in you being respectful to Sadna. So then we move on to Patia saying that Dylan needs to choose between his mother and her, which is like a crazy statement to say, but I feel like a producer might have told her to say it. Then we move back to Manon and Anthony is like, being with you could say I'm a storm chaser, and he's like, thinking that's gonna make her laugh, but he knows it's not gonna make her laugh. He knows it's just gonna make her upset, because Manon is a storm. She absolutely 100% is. And the sooner she realizes that and stops getting offended about the little stuff he does, the better off I think everybody will be. And then he says something that I thought was just so great. He ends up saying, after Chloe says that she thrives on the hate comments, that Anthony, the only person he really has beef with is Johnny, because he feels like Johnny is male bovine excrement. I said, bovine? Oh, we know that I love words that describe beasts of burden. Animal husbandry, if you will. I love it. Said bovine? What a great use of that word. I rarely hear it. Which is like a cow, if I'm not mistaken. Excrement. He says he hates Mel BS. He's a bovine excrement. Let me look up bovine to make sure I'm correct. Yeah, it's a cow. It's a type of cow. Or it's like it's a hooved mammal. A hooved mammal, like a beast of burden. I love it. Oh, what is considered a bovine? A bovine is any animal belonging to the subfamily bovine, characterized as large, cloven hood ruminants with heavy build, including domestic cattle, bison, buffalo, yaks. Yeah, thank you so much. I was just like, I said bovine excrement. Yeah, I'm here for it. I love it. Such a nerd. I'm such a nerd for words. Okay. And then so we move on to Madeline and Chloe. They get on stage, and then Sean Robinson really, I mean, just like the last tell all we saw her in this tell all, she did kind of dig deep and ask the hard questions, especially with Chloe and Johnny. Because they talked about a lot of things. I mean, first we tried to run down their relationship and who cheated on who first. And, you know, I don't care. I don't care about them as a couple. I don't care about their storyline. But I did think it's interesting that Johnny, after everyone kind of came at him, tried to say, yes, you know, I did try to defend myself and it was not defendable, but she still should not have told my business to everyone. Her friend comes out and Madeline is like, you're a B. Like, Madeline is just like yelling at her, calling her a B, calling her all manner of names, saying that she's a whore. And then Sean Robinson is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's just back it on up. Can we just all agree that a whore / prostitute is somebody who gets paid for sex? So someone who just gives money is not is not a whore because they accept money from a man who wants to take care of them. And Dylan is like, yes. I said, listen, listen, as much as Dylan is still riding on Patia for what Patia may or may not have done in the champagne room, I will say it is nice to have a man in the room who isn't going to hold a woman hostage for sex work. Even though it seems like he's still doing that, there are certain parts of sex work or like, you know, certain types of relationships that he is like okay with. And he's like, listen, sugar daddies get something for it too. Like I would let that kind of love or relationship find me. A man who gets some kind of sexual gratification with giving me money, absolutely. Let that find me. Let that find me. Let that find me. If I just chant that over and over again, you guys chant it too. Let that find me. And also, hopefully, I don't get a copyright strike for that because that's crazy. I made that up. So he's like, what are we all talking about? And I said, also, even if she was having sex for money, what is wrong with it? It is the oldest job. Okay, it is the eldest occupation. I wish that we would just, if it's not for you, then just say that. But you don't have to, you know, poo-poo on people who let that find me. You don't have to poo-poo on people who make their money from having sex. Don't poo-poo on them. Come on, I love 304 TikTok. I mean, the way she's acting is like she wasn't, but I'm like, I feel like there is a specific man, Luke, who is interested in a very young, very thin girl. And for her to be like, you don't make your own money, you're a sugar baby. What is wrong with being a sugar baby? I just don't understand. I don't understand what is wrong with any of that stuff. And now I don't know if being a sugar baby is considered sex work. I don't know. But like I don't understand what is wrong with a woman or a man or whomever receiving money from someone who has the money and wants to give it to them for certain favors, either that being their presence or their body parts. If you are willing to give it in exchange for the money, what is wrong with it? Let that find me. You know what I mean? Do I have something to ding? Bing. Let that find me. Like, it's so crazy. Why are people so weird? Why are people so weird? Okay, so then Sean is like, guys, we're doing something we've never done before in the history of 90 Day Fiance. You're going to be so shocked. Guess what? We have anonymous questions from you all to each other. And I'm like, girl, that's the same thing as taking a Twitter tweet and asking the question on the show. Except for now it's all of them. And some of them are long questions, like I don't even remember the questions. They were all dumb. None of them were salacious, none of them were juicy, none of them were good. Working, I can't sing it. Jesus. But it pays and listen, it is honest. I don't agree with that statement anymore. Work ain't honest, but it pays the bills, or whatever Miss Brady said. Miss Badu. We need you to get back to Lalu and stop watching. Oh wait, are they back? I need to get back into. Oh, okay. Whew, I thought they were back. I was like, oh my god, it's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. To me, it's honest, but it pays the bills. I was really thinking the other day, I wish I could find a man who would even pour on me while I lose weight, so I'm more desirable. Girl, I'm tired of working. Girl, hey, angel baby. I would sing that song too, but they're gonna charge me. Anyways. Let that find me. Okay. So then they move on to Chloe saying that she doesn't know anything about it. Like, Chloe, are you still scared or don't know how to use a gas stove? And she's like, yes, I'm still scared of a gas stove. I said, who asked that question? Jenny? Was that Jenny's question? This is a dumb question. And then you know, the Mad's like, oh, the reason you don't like the stove is because you can't cook. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Madeline, are you trying to make it seem like being able to cook is like peak feminine or person behavior? Like that's a flex? It's great. When people can cook, it's great. Let me tell you right now, it's great. But it isn't something to like be like, ha, you can't cook. Like, you can't cook. It's because you can't cook. It's because you're unfaithful, cheater, and you can't cook. Like, oh. As a person who can cook and also can't cook, like I am just, I don't care. Don't give me credit because I know how to cook. Don't give me credit for that. It's not, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't be whipping up like full recipes from nothing. I mean, I can. But it's only because I've been forced to. If I still lived at home with my family, girl, I would be at the grocery store 10 toes down, buying stuff so that my sister and my dad could cook because they enjoy it. They love being in the kitchen. They love the process. They like cutting up the green onions. Okay. They like making all their ingredients, putting them in the line, and then just like dashing them in and like timing it and like taste. They like all that. Okay. I only do it because I got to eat. I only do it because I like to eat. I got to eat and I can't spend too much money. All right. So then there's a real dumb exchange between Johnny and Manon because Manon is like, I don't want to talk to you. You are misogyny. You are misogyny. And he's like, it's misogyny. And I said, Johnny, I will throw everything I have at you right now. I will throw everything. And he's like, do you even know what it means? I was like, do you even know what it means? Like, don't make me defend Manon. And speaking of defending Manon, Sean Robinson can't say Manon's name. She says Manon or like Mana. She calls her. That's how I remembered it. She says Manon, because I kept every time she would say Manam, I would like Mana, do 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 do, Mana, do 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 do, Mana, mana, do, 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 do. Like, and I was like, her name is Manon. I was like, hi, I'm Sean Robinson, and I can't say Manon. What is everybody talking about right now? Um, and so someone's like, Manon, does Anthony still make you want to die inside? And she says, yes, sometimes. And I'm just like, girl. And so Patia and Dilla end up calling it out, and they're just like, what are you even saying? She's like, not all the time, just sometimes. I said, then you need to get out of that relationship. Okay. So then we get into the real like yelling back and forth between Chloe, and finally Chloe is like, can somebody else intervene and argue with this, because I'm tired of it. Like, I can't, I don't want to argue with her. Does anyone else have anything else to say? And no one says anything. They just they're like sitting back just watching these two yell at each other, and she's over it, and I'm over it too. Frankly, it is so boring watching them yell at each other. And then she's like, when you have a sugar daddy, you be's a whore. Now, does she look good? Yes, I think she looks better with dark hair than the. Oh no, that's not true. I think she looks good with dark hair and blonde hair. I just think in general, there is a type of man in this world who will predatorize, who is a predator to her. I don't know. There's just something about her. Something about her that I'm just like, what are you even talking about? Why are you fighting? It's not that she's not a girl's girl, because I don't care if you're not a girl's girl. I don't even really know what that means, because I wouldn't consider myself a girl's girl. Like, but I just feel like Madeline has very interesting morals, or like a moral compass that she kind of puts on people. And I just feel like it's a little antiquated for someone who, you know, how sometimes you see a person who dresses in a certain way and looks a certain way and does things in a certain way, and then they behave. Okay, here's what it is. It feels like Madeline has the moral compass of a church going Catholic, but she dresses like a whore. And so it doesn't equate to me. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand the line. It's like she's like, you're a sugar baby, you're a whore, but it's like you're also using Luke for his money, or for his perceived money. So make it make sense. Like, it just feels like she has a lot of like lines in the sand, but doesn't look like she should have lines in those sands. Like, she should, like, it's just weird. It's very difficult. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I'm just like, what are you talking about? You're over here half naked every time we see you, and you have you like it. You have a problem with her getting money from a man? What are we talking about here? If you could be a sugar baby, you would be. Wouldn't we all? Mm. Okay. So then, one thing I will say is that Patia is, I didn't even say that. Patia tells Greta that she's very proud of her for knowing that something isn't working and for getting out of it quick. And I think to Patia, I go, girl, are you pissed that you wasted 12 years of your life with Dylan because you couldn't just make the decision to cut it off and move on? And so instead of being a hater, you're being honest, and you're being like, good for you. Good for you for not accepting 3 out of 5. Love that. Then we move on to a little bit talk about Dylan and Patia, only because Chloe says that her and Jonathan had sex before she left. And everyone's like, how could you? And I'm like, why wouldn't she? They probably have great sex. Like, and then somebody else ends up saying like, oh, sex is so tied with emotions that maybe when the sex got bad between Greta and Matthew, then that's why it wasn't good, because she wasn't into it emotionally. And Chloe's like, that doesn't make any sense, because I at some point hated Jonathan, wasn't into it emotionally with him, and like, we have great sex. And then Patia is like, yeah, Dylan and I have the best makeup sex. I said, yeah. I said, I don't understand why everybody's trying to act like it's like this big. Sometimes people be wanting to be so fake deep, be so like they just want things to interconnect and like, it's like it to me, this is an extreme version of it. But to me, it's like low key that argument when people are like, yeah, a woman wouldn't get pregnant if her body wasn't open. Like a woman wouldn't get pregnant from a man who took advantage of her because her body would reject the sperm. Sorry, I spit. And I'm like, that what are we talking about? No, that is not no. A sperm gets to an egg and a baby happens. If the sperm doesn't get to the egg, the baby doesn't happen. There's no wind beneath its wing. There's no whisper of a blessing. There's no divine like intervention. It's a biological function. It either happens or it doesn't. So it's like this idea that like, oh, you have to be in this like a deep emotional state. Sometimes some people need to be, but other times it's a biological thing that happens. So stop trying to make it more than what it is. Anyways, Patia says that Dylan used to call her Thumper because they're like little rabbits and they used to have sex all the time. And then this is where Matthew has to say something big, and he's like, when Luke is like, "Did you consummate with your new woman?" And I was like, Luke, that's a stupid question. Let Sean Robinson ask the stupid questions, please. And Matthew's like, I'm building a private life with somebody, and I don't feel like it's appropriate to talk about that. And I was like, building a private life with somebody is crazy. You could just be like, you should have just been like, I'm sorry, Luke, that is none of your fucking business. Worry about your own sex life. What's happening with you and Madeline? Okay, so then we get to Manon and Anthony. And Manon cannot help but be defensive the entire time. She cannot help it. We find out that Anthony is no longer a camp counselor. He has moved on to fast food. And he wants us to somehow believe that that is okay. And then they cut to like footage of her yelling at him in the car and telling him that he will never make as much money as her. And we're all supposed to, in that moment, feel very bad for him. And I don't feel bad for him because I go, she's correct. Now, here's where the part that's wrong is that it hurts his feelings because he wants somebody to accept his pennies. He wants somebody to accept his pennies and be happy with his pennies. And that we're all supposed to feel like, oh my God, Manon should just love her husband even though he works in fast food. No, she needs to get out of a relationship with a man who will never be able to provide for her. She wants to be provided for. And then she tells us that she's running for mayor of this little town that she hates. And then he's like, well, I think you got to like the town, and you called it the asshole of France. And she's like, okay, I called it the asshole of France. Did he want her to sing and say, I want much more than this provincial life? And then they cut to all the times that she's called things the asshole of France, and everyone's like shaking their head at her. And I'm like, since when are we all like very defensive of the small provincial towns in France? If she called it the asshole of France, then that's between her and France. No? Them's her people. She's from there. She's not an American referring to, shithole countries. She's from there. That's like me. It's like, listen, I'm allowed to call certain parts of San Bernardino ghetto. I'm allowed to because I'm from there. So I'm going to call it ghetto if I want to. So like, they're like, and then they're cut to him looking great with his luxurious hair. And he says, you have to be more tactful to be the mayor. You can't say things straight away. And Anthony is like, oh, yeah, she's terrible. She can't be the mayor. She's like, well, I'm going to try to be the effing mayor. So I don't understand why everyone has an opinion about it. Like, I'm going to try. I like to do big things. I get bored. I want attention. I want people to see how great I am at all the things that I think I'm great at. I want accolades. I mean, that's really the biggest thing. I think Manon is deeply insecure, and I think she knows that she's deeply insecure, and she consistently and constantly wants to be praised for the big things that she does. To me, I don't know what Manon was doing. I don't understand her sources of income, but it's like if they were able to survive in Los Angeles, then she was at least making a decent amount of money. I don't know what that is though. Like, is that over 150K a year where she was able to afford everything, and then he brought in 50K a year? So between the K, you could do that in certain parts of LA for sure. Is it better if you have 300K? Yes. Combined income, absolutely. But 200 ain't nothing to like poo poo at. So good for her, but she also wants to be somebody who's like, I'm self-made. I did it. I'm great woman. I can do things. Even though she doesn't understand that with all people who do big things, their family usually suffers. It is the two things you can want to be a loving wife and mother, but not be able to because you want to be a big entrepreneur and have people strangers praise you more than your family does. It's really important for her for people to praise her, people who are not her family. And that's why she feels so upset at Anthony, because Anthony is not praising her in the way that she wants to be praised. He would rather her just be simple and eat beans and toast every day. She's like, "No, I don't want to eat caviar every day, but I would like some tuna, some nigiri. You know what I mean? I do want a filet mignon twice a month." And so it's just like this weird thing where he's like, "Oh, France is great for me." And she's like, "Well, it's not for me." And that's okay. So then we find out it goes even more deep. Manoff, like, Dylan is like, "You just don't fully love Anthony. It feels like you're, just mean to him." And she's like, "I feel like I've done everything I can do to make Anthony and the family and everybody feel like I love them. Anything more is just not me. So whatever." And then she's like, "You okay? I'm a bad mother. I'm a bad woman. I'm a bad wife. I'm a bad this. I'm bad that." Okay. So she gets very defensive at that point. And then there's nothing you can say to her to make her like understand that she is in fact doing something to the people around her. So then we have his aunt come out, and I'm like, why are we revealing a new character? We can talk to his mother, we can talk to his brother, we can talk to his sister, we can talk to his dad. We already met them. So obviously something has happened to where they wouldn't even come to this tell all. The only family they can get is Auntie Candace, who's like apparently like a mother to him. And Candace is like, "You monitor his phone." Now here's the thing. Anthony's a big boy. If he's with a woman who goes through his phone and that he has to delete messages because she goes through his phone, then he needs to leave that relationship. The fact is that Manon is crazy. She's like, "You talk shit about me to your family, and so therefore I go through your phone to ensure that you're not doing that because you've burned bridges. You've lost my touch, my trust." And I'm like, he's allowed to vent to his family about you. And if you take that as, "I'm just gonna go through your phone and yell at you whenever you talk to your family about me, and it's because I don't want you talking to your family about me, so that's why I check your phone." That is a weird argument to have. As soon as somebody were to be like, "Hey, I don't want you talking about me to other people," I'm like, "Oh, this is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Because you talk about me to your friends and family, I don't go through your phone, like, mad that you're talking about me." It's like he's like, he always sides with them. He does not side with me. And I'm like, because you're mean to him. He can't side with you. You're mean to him because you're unhappy, and you find the little that he gives to be not good enough. And that's fair, but you cannot sit here and berate him for it. You need to get out of it. And she's like worried that they're talking about her. So I'm like, okay, so that your answer is to go through his phone? Like, just get out. Oh, God. You've broken my trust a million times. And then they get off camera and she's like, "I won't be humiliated by you. I have to go." So she takes off her terribly ugly dress. She's like, "Rip it off of me. I don't care. Rip it off." And he's like, "I don't know how to take this off." And I was just like, this is so indicative. She says to him, "Take this off of me." And he says, "I don't know how." And if that's not grounds for divorce, I don't know what is. What do you mean you don't know how to take this off? Fucking figure it out. To me, Anthony is equally to blame in the downfall of their relationship as she is. She's just louder about it. She's just rude about it, but he is weaponized incompetence most likely to a T. Just because you speak softly doesn't make you not as antagonistic as the person who's yelling. I don't know how to do this. I'm sorry, do you know how to tie a shoe? You're not dumb. Take this damn dress off of me. So then it feels like Chloe then has to come out from wherever she is to help Manon get out of the dress. And then Luke and Greta are sitting there, and Luke is like, should we have her ask her to stay? And Greta's like, I don't have the balls to do that. As she's like sucking on a green bean. Manon comes out in like this Chanel like looking matching piece. It looks very comfortable and cute on her. And Luke is like, do you want to stay? And she's like, no. And then she, tells Anthony that she's like, we have to get the divorce. And I'm like, yes, you do have to get a divorce. You do. You do have to get a divorce. She's like, I cannot be humiliated by you. You never defend me. I'm like, he can't defend you because there's nothing to defend. You are not happy in this relationship. What she needs is a rich man who will let her do whatever she wants, who does not have I'm not saying that this rich man needs to have no responsibilities. He does, but it'd be better if he didn't have any kids. It'd be better if he didn't have any kids so that she can just go through her time with Benjamin and hire the nanny to help her with Benjamin when she has Benjamin. And so that she can work as much as she wants to with nobody stopping her and telling her what to do. Have a man who understands how much she wants to be an entrepreneur and do all those things. Someone who doesn't get in her way and affords and provides the lifestyle that she wants. So I'm happy for her. That's what I want for her. I can't be humiliated by you. I want the cameras to leave my face right now. Cameras, leave my face right now. And I'm like, okay, girl. Get the cameras out that girl's face. All right, you guys. We got to talk about 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? I don't think I'm doing anything. No, nothing. It's All For You, sung by Janet Jackson, that I can't sing because I'll get a copyright strike. So we'll do that. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But what are you guys talking about? She is a miserable soul because she's with Anthony. That's not really how rich men work, though. I mean, some rich men might. Crazy. My husband has never asked me to go through my phone, vice versa. To be honest, I don't want to see his private conversations. I think it's so weird. I think it's so weird going through anybody's phone. Any opponent would destroy her in a political debate. Oh, yeah. I mean, but it's a small town and she's running for mayor. So, like, would there even be a political debate? Who's the former mayor? Somebody who probably died? I'm late, but I'll watch on replay. Thanks you. Hello. Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Detria, hello. As soon as someone needs my location so they can ensure they can't trust me, it's a wrap. Exactly. Exactly. He called her impolite as though politics is polite. Girl, in this current climate, I'm going to tell you right now, these folks in Minnesota, they be out here. They be out here in these negative degree streets. Okay? Outside. I have witnessed the protesting 2 different times. And I said, you know what? I'm proud of these people. I'm proud of these folks coming out from whatever suburbs they're coming out from. And it's not I see people of color, but it's mainly white folks. They be out here. they be out here. I'm like, Minnesota stand up for sure. I did a candlelight vigil the other day. And it for Alex Peretti, I believe his last name is, and like for Miss Good, and for people who died. And I'm just like, it's a lot going on out here, y'all. It's a lot. And it's all we can talk about. It's all anyone can ever talk about. Like, or trying to like figure out like who's going to the next thing and where we're gonna meet, who we're gonna give food to, and like it's a lot, girl. It's It's a lot. But these folks out here in the streets in this, and I said, who's gotta be out here in this cold? But they out here. They out here. They out here blocking traffic and everything. And sometimes I forget and I just be driving and I'm like, oh my God, now I gotta go around. But okay, power to the people. Okay, power to the people. For real, for real. But they be outside and it be negative 21 degrees. You don't know what it's like to be outside and you have on 2 pairs of gloves and you have on 3 pairs of pants and your extremities are still feel like they're frostbitten. It is quite wild. Getting gas is hard for me out here because it's so cold. It but they outside. They outside. Yeah. I am in the thick of it all the time. My white girlfriend is protesting in the OC and going to Alex Vigil. Yeah, Alex Vigil tonight. Yeah. Girl, in what, 50-degree weather? Girl, we out here in negative-degree weather. I mean, the only good thing about it is that we're out there together suffering, looking at each other through like slits in our scarves and whatnot. But these folks be outside, girl. And there's another like blackout on Friday. And I'm like, I mean, I love to miss days of work. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, oh, so I got to get my gas on Thursday. I got to make sure I get all my food on Thursday because I can't do anything on Friday. Negative 15, girl. What time is it? What is it here now? It was -4 earlier today. Oh, it's 11. It's a smooth 11 here. It was negative 21 all this weekend. It was all this weekend. It was negative 21. Girl. Woo! I know Canada be cold. Cold. But yeah. Negative 21 is crazy. And it's been negative 40 here before, which is like wild. I wasn't here when it was negative 40, but anyways. Thank you guys so much for this little respite. You know, like I said, there's a lot going on out here. So I'm constantly talking about it and thinking about it and worrying about it. Because like the truth is I could be pulled over. I'm in my full head wrap season. And here's the truth. I'm not getting pulled over by an unmarked car. You're gonna have to chase me. But you never know where these fools are at. And if somebody asks me for my ID, I might say no. And that's the one thing I had to call my family and be like, if somebody asks me for my ID, I'm gonna say no. My dad was like, Wahima, you can't say no. Show them your ID. I was like, no, I'm not going to. I don't even want to show a police officer my ID. So, you know, it's like, because I look foreign. So I have neighbors who are foreign, and they're not. I'm sorry. They look foreign like me. For anywhere from Chinese, Indian, Bangladeshi. You know, there's a lot more folks out here who are not just like Somali or Latino or whatever the idea of who they're going after are. There's other ethnic groups of folk who look not American, whatever the hell that means. And they're worried too. Because as we see, they don't care. So I don't walk around. I drive all places. I drive all places. I don't walk around any place. It's too cold to be walking. But yeah, so it's a lot. But I hope that you guys are safe. And it's crazy. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow and we'll talk about 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. All right, y'all have a fantastic evening. You know I got to go to bed because I got to be at work at 1:20 in the morning. So my bedtime is anywhere between 3 and 5, which it's almost 5. So I got to go. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. You have a fantastic evening. Hold on, let me set this down so that I can do my outro. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Shake, shake, shake. You know what